Hello, hello, hello. Lobby 4 upcoming. You stick with Lobby 3 for now because there's plenty to go on. But the broadcast is up and running and we will split screen very, very soon.
Ooh, something is happening. Teehee. I know that voice. Yeah, they made it easy for most of this stint with some good battles. Definitely enjoying that one. But now it seems to be like we have those gaps we were talking about earlier in those events. Now might be stint 40, the stint where you have to talk about everything else but the race, but I'm pretty sure you can do that. Yeah. Yeah, it is. But yeah, some good racing, some little bit of drama, everything that we want in those races, of course. But so far, no. Uh, 53 at the moment. So we have 6 cars on the lead lap, the top 6, and then P7 downwards, at least 1 lap down. And we have a one team that tried the one stop and will be completing the one stop by the looks. Brave. No. Yeah, I was so surprised. Yeah, why? It looked promising. So Loose Moose Racing. Yeah. Again, I'm not sure if it's the most fun way to drive around the track when you have to look after the tires all the time. Mm. Oh, you pay Mr. 110%. Yeah, you can. Definitely. And I think with the mindset of driving a bit more with looking after your tires, you might also be a little bit more cautious, don't overdrive the car. So maybe it's also a safer way to complete the stint. We saw drivers pushing too much and then getting damaged and then having to do an extra pit stop at some point or losing so much time with damage. So the thin line. Yeah, 5 to 6 at the moment. Yeah, it was so close at one point, but it can be close again, no doubt. So this is still possible that we will see a close finish towards the end of the race, but you never know on this track. We saw it quite a few times already, touching that wall. Yeah, 3 and 4. Yeah. Endo did a yeah, really solid job there, keeping it with the quick guys there. Just 11 seconds behind P2, and yeah, Metro Monkey, fastest above the race, fastest driver on track, mover of the race probably. Nope, not quite. Close, but not yet. Did we see a 59 in Stint 2? Ah, yeah, it was Simeon or what? I think, yeah. Oh, okay. Here we go. That I can't tell you that you have that. I heard Shaky will be driving again. But... Okay. Yeah. It's about time now. Okay. Yeah. 56 for the leader. So coming through the dipper. 4.5 here. So might be also a bit late for lobby reset, and that would be a shame. Yes. Doing the weight reduction. Okay. So we have 6 seconds between Gecko Racer and Val Salenta, the top two drivers, top two teams at the moment. Yeah. That's good. So 57, 58, 59. 4 laps to go for Gecko Racer before the handover. Val Salenta in P2. Evo should be doing the esports versus his own team. Yeah. It was. Yeah. True, and just 5 to 6 seconds the gap. So then we have 11 seconds between Val Salenta and Endo, P2 and P3. The number 7 car. The number 7, yeah, car. We have Syndicate Racing 64 car, that Corvette. Oh, yeah, you. And we have AHR in P6 at the moment. 12 seconds behind. No rules. He's a pet player. Yeah, Lucas is alright, Alexis. That should be Jakey. Oh, I'm not sure. Then next up is Loose Moose Racing. Has name. Then Vortex. F. Mhm. Yeah. So top. Yeah, but that gap is coming down between Gecko and Valsa, 4.3. So Valsa Lenta, with the big push towards the end of the stint, gained 1.5 seconds over the last 2 laps. Maybe, yeah. Setting their tone early, yeah, to say no. 4 seconds, alright. But Gecko has plenty of fuel left compared to Valsa Lenta, but seems to be that ORT driver is pushing now. I mean, every second counts still in those long races. A little bit of a slide coming out of Pell Corner. That's 3/10 again. Yeah, I think we had races here where we had just like 1 or 2 cars on the lead lap after 2 stints. So at least we have 6 cars today still on the lead lap. And I don't know, 20. And I think we have Lucas in P7 just about to unlap themselves, get back onto the lead lap as well. Just probably 1.5 seconds behind the Gecko racer at the moment. Yeah, wouldn't be too bad. No, to get back onto the lead lap. You never know. Alright, so it's Gecko now coming round and starts the final lap of the stint. Lap 60 it is, with Lucas right behind, but 1 lap down. But maybe they get a chance to unlap themselves, so it will be really close. Then 4.6, 4.7 seconds to gap to P2 with Valsa Lenta. Another 12 seconds to Endo in P3. Then there's the first big gap between Endo and Macho Monkey. 50.9, 51 seconds. It is between Macho and Identity. 26 seconds and another 11 seconds to Bob. It is so. Let's stay with Gecko Racer for this last lap. His stint. Appreciate his drive. Don't think he saw any bigger issues from that. No damage. Kept it clean. Kept it steady.
Yeah, it seems the amount of crashes into the wall seems to have gone down the further we get into the race, isn't it?
And if you think about esports races time, they were roughly 40 seconds down early on in this race, and now they're leading the race.
Yeah, it was,
after
it was
6
crazy.
hours.
Yeah, well, it was 30. They were 38 seconds back at the beginning of Stint 2, and then that gap opened back up again. Although Sharky closed it for a while, but then it opened back up again. So yeah, they've done a great job, ERA, particularly after what happened to Nick early on in Stint 1 as well. He had to fight his way through the field.
It is. So here we go. Gecko Racer will hand over to Evo. Into the pits they go. Valsalenta 4.4 seconds behind P2. Then we have Endo coming around for Sector 7 in P3. So the 17 seconds separating the top 3 at the moment. Next up will be Metro Monkey.
So there we go. Out comes Evo. How quickly can Azorian get himself out? Well, there's nothing in it. It says 5.3 seconds, but it's all about getting the car up to speed now.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 4.5, so yeah, sounds about correct.
We'd out next, and then it will be who's next after that? Then it'll be Nuke coming out.
Metro Monkey will be pits any second, and in he goes. So then P5 Syndicate Racing with Identity, also one of the big movers. They also had a terrible first stint and now running top 5 after 6 hours. That's a good comeback so far.
Yeah, very good comeback. Pulled it back very well. So who's the big driver of Stint 3 then?
I think it's Macho Monkey. I have to go with them. They made up quite some time, some positions. Fastest lap of the stint. So definitely pops in for AHR, and comes Lucas. P7, 15 seconds behind AHR. And maybe extra shout out to Who's Racing and Papst for doing the one stop.
Yeah, that was a pretty good effort, that, wasn't it?
They will learn from it and decide if it's worth a shot or not.
Yeah, I'm sure the other teams will be looking at it and thinking, okay, well, this is what they did. But I think you've got to look at how much time is lost during those extra slower laps, I suppose.
So in they go. Then P9 will be TJ for Black Flag Racing, but we will have to wait a decision for that driver swap infringement.
Yeah, be interesting to see what happens with that. Because I mean, although the technicality is that they did a lap extra the one before, he at the end of the day they still didn't complete a full racing lap in that second stint.
Yeah, it is, but
there's a few things for the stewards to look at. They've still got that incident from the formation lap with with the six. Who was it? There was
we had Rexy involved, and I think one of the MRL teams as well. So I think they will be busy, the stewards.
Yeah, very busy. Might be a couple of weeks before we see some results. They're going to lock themselves in a darkened room.
So Yupe for Vortex into the pits now.
That'll be, where is he? There he is. That'll be Stroke coming
Keza
out.
with a spin on the top. What happened to Keza? He has damage already and then spins it on the curb, the exit of Skyline. I think also this is one of the races that Keza wants to forget. This is not the race he wanted to have. P11 1 minute plus behind.
Oh,
P10.
it's a funny curb that, because you can take the same line across that curb 10 times and nothing happens, and then you'll have one lap where you'll take the same line and it will just spin you out. Just if you just don't have the wheel quite straight enough, just the slightest angle on there, and it'll fling you into the wall.
Keza misses to go into the pits as well. What's going on today, people? So what's he doing now? He's parking it on the start-finish straight. What is going on? Roses into the pits, so Keza missed the driver swap also. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. So what's Keza doing? Keza is completing the lap the same we saw with Black Flag Racing.
Well, it makes me feel better that Black Flag weren't the only ones. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
So there, that's the Rec C 911 out. We're finalised in it. So
we have 3 more cars on track.
Just 3 more cars.
Keza should stop. Okay. Race director's orders. Mad dash for MRL in a must pitting now.
And there'll be yeast
one
in the
car on
Mustang.
track.
Right, let's have a look at what's going on. I think enough people have exchanged now, and we can have a little look. So Evo has already increased that gap to 8.4 seconds. I was about to tell you he wasn't the fastest man on the track, then he crossed the line and took the fastest lap from Simin, so he is now the fastest man on track with a 201.3 on lap 5. So Azorian is second in the overboost car. 14 seconds to Wid. We've got 53. We've got a lot of Americans there. We've got Wid is third, 14 seconds back. 53 to Nuke of Sector 7. So that's the 2 Sector 7 drivers there. Sinim is up to 5th. They're starting to recover from that disastrous first stint. So up into the top 5 now. And this will be a really good opportunity for him, because he was the guy that put the car on pole. So a good opportunity for him now to try and boost themselves further up that line. 19 seconds is the gap to Nuke, because he's going to need to be putting in some solid times. He's already 3 seconds a lap quicker than Nuke on that last lap alone.
Alright, so we have Gelf now, the final driver, to pit and go for the swap. So this concludes stint number 3. Thank you for watching. I will be ending the Freeman. Everyone that's still in here, what are you doing? Go over. Stint 4 is for the racing action.
Step into my boudoir.
Exactly. Bye-bye.
So, slide rules for Apex Hunters. We saw AHR were quite dominant through the early stages of this race, and now down into that midfield. 17 seconds behind Simin at the moment. 2:03 being the fastest lap there for slide rules. Jakey, he's got another car for company right behind him, but it's not for race position. That is the I think that's the overboost car just behind him. Yeah, it is indeed the overboost car behind him. Lapping him, Hasnain for Loose Moosehead Racing. 42 seconds, a massive gap to Jakey. A couple of laps back off the leaders now. 2 minutes 51 seconds off the lead. 42 of those seconds to Jakey ahead. 18 seconds back to Stormfly running in ninth. Yet to find out if there's any penalties to be applied there. Although I think if you, I don't know, from the mistake in Stint 1 to the mistake in Stint 2, they kind of looked to have cancelled themselves out a little bit, because I think Kaizan was 10th at the end of Stint 1 had he gone into the pits at the correct time. And yeah, well, we'll see what the stewards decide. It's down to them. There's quite a lot of stuff to pick apart. Stroke rounds out the top 10, but he's got 40 seconds if he wants to move up the order for Vortex Racing. But a massive gap behind him, 1 minute 23 seconds to finalised in that 911. Another 48 seconds to Yeast, a 34 to Tonic down there in the McLaren, and Apex Magnet in the other MRL McLaren, 1 minute behind, and 7 minutes off the leaders now. At this, we've just gone past the halfway point. So thank you very much to Jaeger for that last stint. We've got Quintus coming up to do stint number 5 straight after this, and then Jaeger and I'll be back for the final stint.
We'll be back, exactly. So
yeah,
talk to you later. Bye.
See you later. Thank you very much. Right, so there's your race leader. He came out the pits. It was 4 seconds at the start of this stint. He came out already all guns blazing. And we know that Evo is absolutely a demon around a racetrack. And he's going to be a very difficult car to catch. And I think, actually, ERA are very clever in the way that they use Evo. Because I don't often see him doing the first stint or the last stint. I quite often see him doing these sort of middle stints where it's about consolidating a lead, and I think it works very well, because he's picking up the mantle from some really good drivers. I mean, Nick we saw had some problems in stint 1, and we see Evo now picking up the team have fought their way back to the lead of this race, and we see him picking it up here, and this is where he has that opportunity to use that pace to really open up a gap from the chasing pack. Yeah, well done everybody on that last stint. Some really good racing going on, although I missed most of it. I was eating my food and doing something non-race related for a little while. Not very long, of course. So Azorian, who really pulled ORT into the mixer and brought them up to the business end of things. He's now got the opportunity to consolidate for his team. He's got to try and find a way to stick with the pace of Evo out in front. He's picking up a little bit of slipstream from the back of that Race Asylum car further down the order, but he's going to need a miracle of a drive to try and catch Evo as it stands. The two Sector 7 drivers, very good performance from Sector 7 today. They found themselves really growing into this race. First stint wasn't so great either way. We had a few issues with the formation lap, and with Mazda moving forward during the formation lap, overtaking a few cars, and then we obviously had Monkey Man with a few issues with crashing and burning, but he's rescued it. They've rescued it very well. Both Sector 17s. Wid picks up the mantle in third, and Nuke just under a minute behind in fourth. So good opportunity for that gap to close. And Knudsen pit a lap early. TJ, he came in on lap 59 instead of lap 60. Which is why you ended up a bit further ahead. He was. You're right, Ray. He was absolutely solid in stint 1. Really did a really good number on the race. Particularly, he didn't crash at all. He kept the car within the realms of the racetrack, and was there to pick up and where the other cars were crashing and falling by the wayside. Simin is running in 5th. We know he is very, very capable of a hot lap. He was, of course, the driver who put that Syndicate Racing Team car on pole position yesterday. So he's really worked. He's really worked very hard to help get his team back up into that top 5. He's not that far off the back of Nuke. Looking at the comparable times over the last few laps, he's a couple of seconds a lap quicker than Nuke, and he's closing that gap very quickly. It won't be long. It won't be long before we see the battle for 4th going on there. Now, the thing is, we're looking there. So, Nuke is 58 seconds behind his teammate Wood. Simon 10 seconds back, so just over a minute back from Wood. Now, looking at the pace of Simon compared to the pace of Wood, he's a second a lap faster. 60 seconds, 60 laps. He could very well find himself banging on the door of 3rd by the end of this stint. Slide rules for AHL desperately wanted to get his team back up into that top 3. They were knocking on the door of that top 3 for some time in the early stages of this race. 27 seconds behind Simon. He's not going to be an easy driver to catch. Currently knocking around in those 203s. Again, everybody on the... I wonder if anyone else is going to go for that crazy one stop that seemed to work so well. It doesn't look like everyone's on the softs. We'll see anyway. We will see what we will see. Jakey 8.3 behind slide rules, and he is closing that gap down to 8.2 seconds. He's got the Lexus just where he likes him. We've gone a few laps without crash, which is always good. Hasnain 42 seconds back. There's big gaps there. He is lapping in those high 201s, low 202 Stormfly behind. Very similar lap times. It's going to be quite hard to close that gap. I was going to say he's being chased down by the Rexy 911, but the Rexy 911 is actually a lap further back. Yes, we had emotional roller. I think a lot of teams have done a bit of an emotional roller coaster today, because you had Nick crashing and having to work his way through. We've had the Syndicate Racing Team go from pole to last. We've had who else has given us some? We've had the Black Flag Team pitting at all the wrong moments. We've seen a number of different battles on the racetrack. We've seen the 2 Sector 7 teams in the top 4, and then all of a sudden dropping down the order. Why can't you see tyres? Because I haven't turned them on, mate. There you go. Simple question. I thought it was a bit early for looking at tyre wear, being that it's only lap 10 of 61. I was going to bring it up closer to the pit window, but you can have them now. There you go, for your viewing pleasure. Looking at the back of the pack, that is Apex Magnet. He's got a bit of work doing. 203s is a very respectable lap time. Similar to the laps we've seen from Tonic. Tonic was facing in the wrong direction quite often during Stint 2, and I'm hoping he's sort of shaken that off and now back to form, shall we say. There's Yeast, not super consistent, 205 on that previous lap before this, but back up into those 202s. That's the lead MRL team there, running in 12th. Finalised 52 seconds up the road and very consistent in those 202s. He's going to need to be consistent, because ahead of him is a stroke 4 Vortex. They were for so long running in that top 6, all the way through Stint 1 and 2, were very much banging on the door of the top 5, but find themselves now with Stroke's pace. Though he is going to be pulling away from finalised, but it's whether he can close on Stormfly ahead. And it looks to me that their times are going to be very similar, as Hasnain ahead as well. So we could see that these guys actually don't really close up on each other, because their times are just so similar. Jakey running in the 201s, anything between a 201 and a 203, just 6 seconds behind Slide Rules. That gap is closing very, very quickly. It's down to 6 seconds, so there's a potential battle there. Jakey on Slide Rules, that's going to be happening, I imagine, in about 2 or 3 laps, unless something really dramatic happens sooner. Then we've got this battle here. We've got Simin closing on the back of Nuke at a rapid rate. He's got that fastest lap already at 2 minutes 0.7. We didn't see the sub the 159 lap, the sub 2 minute lap in stint 3. We're hoping we get another one here, and I can make it a trio of 159s, and then we know it's just personal against Jaeger, of course. Don't forget to click that like button and click the share button, guys. Let's let the YouTube faithful know that you're watching and you like it, so others can enjoy it too. The gap to Wid has opened up a little bit. Wid is pulling away from his teammate, but still 21 seconds the gap to Azorian. Is going to need to be finding a bit more pace than that, because the gap is getting wider. He is desperately I mean, he's putting in some great times to try and keep up with Evo, but Evo just every lap just edging ever further away. 9.6 seconds now he has, excuse me, leading this race. Monday afternoon snooze. Yeah, 9.6, 9.7 seconds he leads this race by. We're looking for this battle here, because this battle is going to be on very soon, as is this battle just behind, Jakey on Slide Rules. We're going to have to flip between the two, I think, and see which one comes first. Let's go on board in the passenger seat. I prefer the passenger seat. It's much cooler a view. So up the hill we go. 2.7 seconds is the gap now to the back of Nuke. If he can really catch him up in this mountain, we could see an overtake as soon as, I think, lap 12. He's really taking chunks out of him at a rapid rate of knots. Quickly going back to Jakey, doing a very similar thing to Slide Rules, closing that gap down to 3.1 seconds. He's got a couple of cars ahead as well, offering up a little bit of help in the tow department. As they're coming around, they've got a back marker there, which is going to affect the race a little bit. Is it going to hold him up? That's the big burning question, of course. We do not want to be getting held up at this stage. 1.6 seconds now as they just come round Forest Elbow onto that long Conrod straight that takes you back down to the Chase and the hotel complex to begin the next lap. Not quite close enough to be getting any benefit from the back of that AMG yet, but soon we should see as he closes the gap getting smaller and smaller incredibly quickly. Some great racing from this guy over the last few hours. Into this left-right combo he goes. He's cut that down. He's almost within that 1 second window. He may, if he gets a really good exit here, have a potential shot going up the mountain straight. Round the final corner go. That's Murray's taking you down to Hell Corner, turn number 1. The gap still just over 1 second. Nuke desperately trying to find the traction, trying to find the pace to get that car up the racetrack and away from the chasing Simin. So it is under 1 second now. He's getting a little bit of benefit here as they head up towards the mountain for the 12th time. Plenty more racing to go. We are on lap 12 of stint number 4 of this GT Endurance Championship 2024, round number 3 at the Bathurst 12-hour race. And we're on board at the moment with Sinim, the driver that puts the Syndicate Racing team on pole position yesterday, and is now trying to fight their way back from they had a horrible race in stint number 1, and he's really been putting in a shift for the team over the last over stint 2 and stint 4. I very nearly, I very fully expected then for there to be a coming together. He's going to have to hold back. You cannot be going side by side through here. There just isn't the room to do it. Getting it slowed right down before they come out onto Conrad, and I think this is where we're going to see this overtake. He's got a really good exit. He's tucked in behind the rear wing of that AMG, and indicators are on. He's saying, if you're going to go past me, that's the way you're going. I'm staying on the outside. And here he goes, simming. It's going to be an easy overtake. It's not there's no way you're not going to get that done from that position. Wrong button. That's the one I wanted. And there we go. He is ahead and into 4th. So currently lapping in the high 2 minutes. And he's about a second and a half quicker than Wid, who is a minute up the road in 3rd. There shouldn't be, no. I don't know what happened there. There was bound to be 1 or 2 technical issues somewhere, wasn't there? I don't know why that's happened, but it is what it is. It's going to end up there anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much, James, because it will end up on the IRO channel at some stage anyway. But what I was going to do was splice them all together into one long video and put them on the IRO, so it doesn't really matter either way. Don't know is the honest answer to that anyway. Right, I did wonder why it was asking me to multi-stream when I put it on, but I had to put it down to a bug in the system. This is the other battle we're looking at. Well, we were looking at it. It's already been done. Jakey got that move done on slide rules, and he's already 2.6 seconds clear. Just want to go through the order, make sure nobody's got any damage that we need to know about. Everybody seems all very well repaired. No one's been into the pits to repair anything. So yeah, looking good so far. Nobody with any damage, which is what are we, 13 between 14 and 30 and 10 laps in. So there we go. So Evo is still leading, but he isn't pulling away as we expected. It's 10 seconds on the money. Look, I say like we expected, he's pulling away, but it's not super quick. It is flitting around that 9.8, 9.9, 10 second mark at the moment. Azorian doing a very good job at ensuring that he sticks with him. He's opened up the gap from Wid now to 23 seconds. Whittle wants to try and stay in touching distance of these guys, and he's not going to want to disappear off into the disappearing off into the distance. He'll want to keep. He basically wants to see them cars there, so there's an opportunity, is what he wants. He wants to make sure that there is, that if anything happens up ahead, if there's any mistakes or any issues happen, that he's close enough to capitalise on it. But particularly if Evo or Azorian hit the wall or have a crash or whatever they do and have to go and pit, he wants to be close enough that he's going to get a benefit of that. Once he drops out that sort of 25-26 seconds, it then, it becomes pit stop territory. There's essentially a free pit stop between him and the car ahead. He's not going to want that to happen. At the moment, he does have 2 free pit stops over Simin in 4th. That gap is at just over a minute. 3 US drivers. We've got a Brit on the front of the pack. We've got Portuguese driver Zoran has been, for me, I think if you're going to vote a driver of the day at the moment, he's probably one of them in the shoe-in for as a shoe-in for that vote. Wid in 3rd from the United States, Sinim from the United States in 4th, Nuke from the United States in 5th. Land of the Free and Hope of the Brave. And then we've got the trio Brits, Jakey, Slide Rules, and Hasnain, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Stormfly, so it says Dutch, he's not Dutch, he's Hungarian. Hungarian, but living in the Netherlands, and sporting of the Dutch flag, of course, running in 9th. In terms of catching ahead, it's not really happening at the moment. He's in a bit of a hole. But it's a good hole to be in, because you're not really, although you're not catching the guy ahead, you're not really pulling away from the guy behind, but you've got a nice clean racetrack to work with, and that always gives you the opportunity to just consolidate that a little bit. And I think after the first couple of laps and everything that went on with Black Flag there, consolidation is in order. Stroke. Well, to be fair, the last one worked for you. You didn't do anything stupid. You didn't TJ it, and I was a bit worried about Stormfly when he was sat on the grid and everyone else had done their formation lap, but he made it in the end. Stroke for Vortex, still inside that top 10. He's another one actually, along with Azorian, that is on that shortlist for driver of the day. He's had that. The whole Vortex team for me have been quite impressive. Getting past the McLaren of MRL. That's not for track position. That is purely to lap them. The other 911 driven by finalised running in 11th. Again, United States of America. But there is some gap now. To get back in the top 10. If a driver outside the top 10 wants to fight their way into it, there's going to be a lot of work to do in order to do that. 1 minute 33 seconds is the current gap between finalised and a place in that top 10. Then we've got Yeast, followed by Tonic, followed by the Apex Magnet. I want to keep an eye on Jakey here. And Nuke, because he's 37 seconds behind Nuke at the moment, but Jakey already dispatched slide rules quite early on and is starting to pick up a little bit of rhythm now. And I'm wondering whether if you're looking at Nuke's time, and Nuke's in those 203s, so already dropping out of the top 4. How quickly is he going to tank down towards Jakey? Is Jakey going to be able to get that car up into the top 5? And then, of course, you've got the worry of slide rules as well. He's not lapping quite as quickly. So you've got Hasname behind. He's probably going to catch slide rules relatively quickly as well with that 33-second gap. So I think we're going to see around the same time, we're going to see Hasnane on the back of slide rules. We're going to see Jakey on the back of Nuke. We may possibly as well see Stormfly or even Stroke get involved on some of those guys, particularly slide rules. As it stands, so apologies, I need to get a drink. Not an alcoholic one, just a normal, regular, everyday one. Evo leading the way and showing everyone how it's done. Very, very solid, clear road. The only cars he can see ahead of cars that he is approaching to lap. Oh, wrong button. That's the button I wanted. There we go. You'd think after like hundreds of videos I would have got this down by now, wouldn't you? That's the view behind. There's literally no one there. 9.5 seconds down the road. He can manage this quite well now. Azorian is doing a great job. Great job at sticking with him and not allowing him to pull significantly away. And that, I suppose, that has got to be the mandate for this particular stint, is that consolidation. Is that you've lost the lead. The tables have turned a little bit from earlier on in the race, but you're still in that top 3. You're still in the mix for a podium place. Rather than try and force it, try and push too hard and make a mistake, you just do the job, get the laps in, keep it clean, keep it consistent, stay in the mix, because anything can happen. And remember, we've still got over 5 hours of racing to do here. So we've got 17 laps, so just over 1/4 through this particular stint. Still almost 43 laps to go. Exactly 43 laps to go until the end of this stint. And then there's still 120 laps remaining after that. Hundreds and hundreds of miles of this iconic street circuit. They have quite accurately recreated the racetrack and a lot of the surroundings. Because it is actually a street circuit, not a purpose-built racing circuit. These are the streets where people live. A lot of the houses you see, particularly on the right, the middle tends to be less so, but around the outside, round on that right-hand side, all the way around the racetrack there are farms and homes, and you can see the paths there. They're blocked off at the moment, all leading up to the properties. Another property there on the left-hand side, as you can see. Very strictly enforced speed limits around Bathurst, of course. You're not allowed to go. I think 20. It's either 20 mile or 20. I think 20 kilometres now is probably a bit too slow. I'm sure it's like something like 20 mile an hour speed restriction, with very heavily policed by security. And there's a series of tunnels underneath the area, so that the people that live in the properties surrounding the circuit can actually get in and out, because obviously you can't just take your car round down the Conrod straight and off to Tesco, or well, it won't be Tesco, will it? It's Woolworths over there, isn't it? Woolworths is their big supermarket equivalent. I don't know why it would be Tesco's. It makes it sound like I'm posh. I'm not. Waitrose. So yeah, Zorian doing a great job anyway. Moving swiftly on. 8.5. He's actually closed a little bit on Evo, so finding that little bit more pace than before. I've got a little cut on my fucking hand and I just banged it off the side of my desk. It really, really hurts. Ouch. So I think it's a splinter. Right, WID. I'm assuming it is WID, or short for wood. He is. We can see Simon is starting to close the gap on him. It's down to 57 seconds. He is not sticking with Azorian though. It's now out to 28 seconds. So he is dropping it back off of those front two, which is giving them a little bit of free rein to disappear off up the road. Simon, we know he's quick. We know he's capable of some severe hot laps. And we're a couple of laps away from a pit window. I don't think anybody's actually been in yet. I don't think anyone's damaged themselves or anything. So it's looking pretty good thus far. Nuke there dropped down. He's lost a couple of or a place at least at the moment. But it looks like Jakey is starting to close in on him. That gap now down to 32 Great British seconds. Slide rules still 30 seconds back, but the gap between him and Hasnane now, Hasnane really closing in. 9.7 seconds now to slide rules. We fully expected Jake to be catching Nuke, but we've got a while before that's going to happen. But this battle here we didn't think would be quite so soon, but it looks like it may well be. Did Slide Rules have some sort of crash? Well, Slide Rules have been into the pits actually. So Slide Rules been in very, very early, which has cost him significant time. And I'm not quite. The wear isn't that high to come in as soon as he did. Now we know that the tyres do stretch beyond that sort of 20 lap kind of benchmark, but surely you'd want to stay out for as long as possible. Although, to be fair, quite a smart decision if you know that everyone around you has still got a pit and you do not. So I suppose from that perspective, it's a viable strategy. Don't think it's the best one, but it is viable. Rounding out that top 10, we want to keep an eye on Stroke there for Vortex, and whether he can match the pace of Stormfly and Hasnain up ahead, or maybe even just close the gap up a little bit as the race goes on. We should start seeing cars piling in now over the next few laps, Evo being one of them. And I understand that Evo is actually a pad player, so which is why it's so sickening that he's so goddamn quick. We know that driving on a pad has a little bit of an effect on your tyre wear. You will wear that little bit faster with a pad. There's just nothing you can do about it. It's just a fact of life. But it's whether or not it affects you in terms of strategy. It doesn't look like it has that much effect on Evo at all. He's made that 20 lap point quite comfortably. Still got a bit of tyre remaining. He can go on another lap or two if he so wishes, or he could just come in now and make it a straight lap, 20 lap 20, then done to stop strategy. And that seems to be, without damage, the optimum strategy around here. Seems to be that two stopper. We've had one team attempt a one stop. Well, that's attempt. They succeeded in the one stop, but not entirely sure it was incredibly quick. because over 60 laps, if you're losing a second a lap, you know, you've lost almost 2 pit stops worth of time. You know, it's got to be less than half a second a lap you're losing, and even then you're still probably better off just coming in. Where's the battles gone? There's no battles. It's just a little bit processioning at the moment. We think that's going to be the next battle on the agenda. Hasnain for Loose Moose Racing on slide rules of Apex Hunter Racing. So Evo in at the end of what is for him lap 21. No, lap 20. So he's coming in lap 20. So he's splitting it up exactly on the 20 lap mark. But you do wonder if it's worthwhile. And we saw this with Ando in the last stint. Ando, who was in for Wid, who's now in third, that he had so much tyre left available to him and fuel left available to him when he came in. He could have stretched that stop out much longer and given yourself an opportunity for a banker pit stop. And what I mean by that is that you know the chance of getting damage around here is pretty high. And you know the cost of damage obviously is you're going to have to go and repair it. If you can give yourself a bit of a buffer in terms of pit window, go deeper into the race than you planned, you give yourself the opportunity, should it arise, to have a less damaging pit stop should you need to go in for some repairs. So Wid is in the Mustang just behind Hasnain. That is the MRL car of Yeast, just coming out of the pits. I've had one of those. I've had a him infection before. Have you? So he's been in. Tonic still to go in. Finalised still to go in as his stroke, as is Stormfly, who is staying out on lap 20, not coming in as yet. Hasnain also staying out. He's got loads and loads of tyre there, and actually, I wouldn't be surprised if he is not far off being able to one-stop this. And if he can one-stop this with that pace, that would be absolutely phenomenal. It's certainly looking like he's got the pace. I think it's going to be that rear right tyre may not hold out for another 10 laps. But my golly gosh, I bet he's going to give it a go. Did I just say my golly gosh in public? I've turned into a Victorian gentleman. Talking of Victorian gentlemen, as we've got such big gaps out there, I found a little article the other day as Nuke in for his first pit stop. It's basically a list of slang terms for a penis over the years. We're talking dating back to the 1600s. Who wants to hear a few favourite slang terms for penises over the last 400 odd years? Put your hands up and we'll knock some out. No pun intended, of course. No pun intended. So the front two have been in. Wid has been in, as has Simin, as has Nuke, as has Jakey. Slide rules went in a little bit earlier. Hasnain still to go in, as Stormfly and Stroke, and finalised. Joshua wants to hear a slang name for a penis. We will go with, I think Hasnain's going to come in, or maybe not. I think Stroke might be the next one in. So let's have a little looky-see here. We go back to the 1720, when a favourite slang term for a penis was the silent flute. They get better. I'm picking that one because I want to save the best till last. We'll rock you another one. Next time someone goes in the pit, we'll chuck another one out. See if we can get the whole list reeled off by the end of this stint 4. What did you do on Saturday? I listened to a man talk about pixelated cars driving around a track and giving them different names for penises. So stroke in, finalised staying out, Stormfly, and staying out as is Hasnain. Next time someone goes in, we'll rock another one out. It's going to be one of those guys at the back there. Apex Magnet still needs to go in. Yeast has been in, and that should put Yeast back ahead of Tonic, who's currently running in 12th position, but will have to pit sometime in the next 5 or 6 laps. After that round of pit stops, Evo has broken the 10-second barrier over Azorian and just started to edge away, and it's just gone purple as well in that first sector. Is it time for him to get his name on the board with a 1:59? The wind's not quite as favourable as it was in the previous stint, so it might not necessarily be the right kind of weather. The gap between Azorian and Wid not really changed much, still 28 seconds. Simmons still closing on Wid, having got past Nuke. It's now down to 54 seconds, but he's not closing as quickly as I think he would have liked to have done. I think he would much prefer to have been closing at a second and a half a lap, but it's not quite worked out that way, and it's not even really a second a lap at the moment. He's a little bit quicker, but not enough for it to be really noticeable. We wondered if Nuke was going to get caught by Jakey. Well, the gap is now down to just 21 seconds. Jakey is about a second a lap faster, so we should see that battle raging sometime around the second pit window. With Slide Rules running in 7th, but being caught by Hasnain. I think the only saving grace here is that Slide Rules can stay out a lot longer. He pit very, very early. Hasnain's going to have to pit in the next few laps, possibly around 25, lap 26 maybe. Now, question: I happen to know that Stormfly's very good at looking after tyres. The question is whether he can drag this to lap 30. I'm not entirely sure there's enough tyre left there to make it worth dragging it for a one stop. And certainly the compromise, I'm not sure any sort of compromising pace is worth it to try and hang on. Particularly when you've got Stroke there, he's on fresh tyres, he's a minute back, so he's not going to catch him any time soon. But the last thing you want is the car behind you absolutely on it. But yeah, Jakey doing very well at the minute, Joshua. Jakey doing very well. Blue flags there for a Stroke, of course. That is, I think that's Evo coming up behind it, is indeed. That is ERA Evo. Finalised there in 11th position. That's Tonic into the pits. I promised you when we got another pit stop we'd have another name. So in 1951, a favourite slang term for a penis was a dingwallis. How about that? A dingwallis. Talking of penises, does anyone want to give it a stroke? I'm very, very, very sorry. Very, very sorry. All right. And there's your race leader. He's now starting to hammer it down and open up that gap. He stayed at under 10 seconds for so long, but now you can just see him starting to open up and move away from Azorian and give himself that little bit of a cushion. He pits on lap 20. Next time I suspect we'll see him pit. Damage aside, of course, is lap 40, not suggesting we want him to get damaged in any way. Who came up with it? It's just a list of, they've sort of gone through like old texts and writings and stuff and like language of the day and compiled the list of slang terms used in those particular years. Nice work if you can get it. What do you do for a living? I look back through the history of language and try and find special words people use for a cock. But people will pay funding for some of the most outrageous things. I can just imagine like 5 scientists sitting around in a room and the lead scientist comes in, he says, I've just got a cheque for £1 million from that rich guy down the road. Shall we try and cure cancer? Nah, let's see how many fruit pastilles we can choke a kestrel with. I imagine that's what happens in most scientific studies. Who knows? Because you see it quite often, don't you? These, absolute crazy statistics that mean nothing, or crazy facts that mean nothing. Kind of like this, my new favourite list of things, which is favourite slang terms for a penis. A Hasnain into the pits. So we will go to the to 1656 for the bald pate fryer. Or I think it's pate, the bald pate fryer. I'm actually disappointed. I'm looking down the list, and the word tallywhacker is not on there. And I happen to quite like that one. It's one of my favourite slang terms for a penis. But it's not on the list, unfortunately. So Apex Magnet's been in, Tonics have been in, now Yeast has also been in. Finalised still needs to go. Stroke has been in, but he's got a little bit of damage he seems to have picked up. Having done that, Stormfly's still not got him. He is dragging his car round this track for a long time. He's right up behind Hasnain now, but Hasnain of course has pit, whereas Stormfly, unfortunately for him, has not. But if he is dragging this to lap 30 and giving the one stop a chance, the pace for the one stop actually isn't that bad. Although he did lose a couple of seconds on that last lap, that lap 23. If that's costing him that now, then it's not worth doing the one stop at all. But it's looking good so far. He's got more than a free pit stop overstroke at the moment. That battle there, the Hasnain to slide rules, 29 seconds. We'll see that gap come down ever more. So slide rules is out of sync in terms of pit as well with those guys. Jakey, who has been looking super quick, has closed now on Nuke. That's now 18.2 seconds, the gap to Sector 7's Nuke. 26 seconds, or 26.8 in fact, behind Simin. Or is it Simin or Simon? I suppose Simin. Distinct Simin. 49 seconds now, the gap to Wid. That's come down from over a minute, which I'll tell you what, actually, if he continues this, because he's now got a 2-minute .1, which he did on lap 23, compared to the fastest lap for a Wid being at 201.7. So we're looking at a 1.6 second a lap difference. If he maintains a second and a half a lap, he will be catching him towards the end of this race. I could sit and do the math. We're probably looking about 12, 15 or so laps. If we said 15 laps and he's going to catch him, that'll put us to lap 40, lap 45, maybe 42, 41, 42. I think it's a distinct possibility. We could see at the rate Simon is going, we could quite easily see him have a decent 10 lap or more shot at making a move into third. Still waiting for slide rules to pit. We're still waiting for Stormfly to pit, and we're still waiting for nobody else to go in. Just those two for their first stop, and it's only a couple of laps before these guys will have gone half distance, and therefore a one-stop strategy. 11.5, you heard that correctly. Just 11.5 seconds separates Evo in the lead of this race from Azorian in second position. The Brit versus the Portuguese, stripped to the waist, fighting the car park. Talking of fighting in the car park, I read an article today that I really hope isn't true. That they are developing for a race in Abu Dhabi AI controlled autonomous racing cars, which they're going to race at an event in like Saudi Arabia or UAE or somewhere like that, one of those Middle Eastern countries. And it makes me feel very, very, very sad, because surely, let's assume the cars are all built to the same specification. Taking human error and human reactions out of the equation, just putting it down to a series of computers, that race should essentially, they should all start and finish at exactly the same time, right? You would have thought. Good afternoon, Jay. Yeah, you would have thought if you've got completely autonomous cars racing each other, not controlled, we're not talking about controlled by humans from elsewhere, we're talking about completely autonomous cars racing each other, and it is in Saudi Arabia, I've just checked. Yeah, surely qualifying should be every single car finishes with exactly the same race time, and at the end of the race, they all finish side by side across the line. And I can't see any other way that unless you're going to make some robots smarter. It's essentially like an AI controlled superfarm. I mean, you have read it as well, but I mean, one, I don't see the, but where's the excitement in that? You know, part of the excitement of motor racing is you might crash and die. That for real motor racing, obviously, and you've got the excitement and the adrenaline of that fight. But how can you get excited watching two computers race each other unless the competition is actually who can build the smartest racing driver computer? Then there really is no competition in it at all, and it's a bit boring. But who knows? But we are watching Evo absolutely dominate him. He's driving like a bot, as he does. Zorin in second, 11.8 seconds. The gap, still pulling away from Wid, who is being reeled in by Simmon of the United States of America. Fuck yeah! And that's not on track incident. That is actually that's Nuke being unlapped. So being unlapped by the Vortex Racing team. Driven by Stroke. As Namino's got in, Stormfly's still out. He is, for me, he must be going for the one stop now. Stroke has been in and back out, finalised in and out. Yeast has been in, Tonic has been in, everyone else has been in, so it's only Stormfly needs to go in. It means someone else is pit, which means I need to give you another penis name, don't I? From 1888, the Liver Disturber. That just sounds mental, doesn't it? The Liver Disturber. There's another couple like that are just wrong on so many levels. But yeah, Liver Disturbers are pretty gross out. Right, so Nuke, we can see, has been getting caught lap after lap after lap. He picked this up in fourth place. Simmon reeled him in, got the move done. Now 34 seconds clear, and Nuke now finds himself dropping ever closer to Jakey, running in sixth. There he is, and you can see it's later in the day than I was going to say later in the day than it was this morning. Of course, it's bloody later in the day than it was this morning, but you know what I mean in terms of settings. But yeah, there we have it. So Jakey is chasing down that the American driver ahead, Nuke, from Sector 7. Keep pushing. Yeah, to be fair, Dominique, is it Dominica or Dominican? Dominican Shah. Yeah, he's still got. He's still putting in fastest laps, and he's still very consistently in those low to mid 2 minutes on the money. I think of the people on the racetrack that are likely to give us a 1:59, I think he's probably it. He's already given us one already. Give us one. But also you've got Evo there. Evo very capable of those times. But yeah, I am fully convinced that if he continues on with this pace, and Wid continues on in that sort of second and a half scenario as he seems to have been, that gap, that 43-second gap, is not long for this world, and we're going to have a new team in that top three. No worries at all, my friend. No worries at all. That is what I am here for. You can send the big checks with the lots and lots of zeros whenever you like. I promise I will absolutely bank them and spend the money on hookers and crack. I won't spend it on hookers and crack, but I'd think about it. Let's have a look at Stormfly, because he is what looks like running until the end of this race. Now, the question is, does he come out again on the softs? Because if you look at the times are starting to drop a touch, but not significantly. He's within 11 seconds of Hasnain, so he's been catching Hasnain a little bit. But we did talk briefly, Jaeger and I, about the possibility of another car, another team trying the one-stop strategy. Now we've seen that it's not awful, and I said at the beginning here that if you can maintain a good solid lap time on those soft compounds without losing too much time, if you are clearly 2 seconds quicker on a two-stop strategy than the one, then pointless, absolutely pointless doing a one-stop strategy. But if the time is relatively comparable, then it's certainly worth doing. Now, the question, of course, here is whether or not he opts to go for the medium compound tyres for the second stint. That would give him the benefit of obviously having a little bit more traction in the car. A little bit more, a little less degradation in the car, but you are going to be sacrificing traction, you are going to be sacrificing braking, you're going to be sacrificing time. But what you will be giving yourself is a guarantee of some stronger tyres at the end. And there it is, there's the 159. I knew it was coming. We talked about it, and he's put it in a 1:59.9. He's done that twice now today, usually when I'm watching, because that's how it rolls. A 1 second penalty. Absolutely brutal penalties around here, absolutely brutal. Do not like the penalty system on a GT7 in the slightest. I think it's stupid, and I think the way they make you serve it is even stupider. So round we come. Is he going to go another lap, or is he coming in at the end of this lap 29? Remember, he's got to do 60 racing laps. Right, he's in at the end of lap 29, so almost made it exactly halfway. So the question now is going to be whether he opts to go mediums and run to the end. Does he opt to go back on the softs and try and make it to the end? Or is he going to go soft, but push really, really hard, knowing he's going to have to stop again? The gap out in front again, not opening up hugely. 12.1 seconds for Evo. Just loving look how clear he's got a lapped car behind him, nothing to worry about. That is the 911, the Rexy 911, back there behind him, being driven by Yeast, isn't it, in that car, I think? Finalised in that car. Then we look at Zorian. He's coming up to a lap. That is the that's the AMG GT3 of who? Oh, that might. I think that's not weird, surely. No, it's not. I think it's one of these guys back here somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, moving swiftly on. So there is Wid in third. He's in a massive gap. 37 seconds ahead, 39 seconds behind. But it was a minute. And Simon is closing that gap down as Slide rolls into the pits for his second stop. Pit stop time means we share a favourite slang term for penis, and we go to 1811, where a favourite slang term for a penis was a gaying instrument. Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. That's my favourite one so far. gaying instrument. Oh, that did tickle me just that little bit. So distinct Simin, and there he is. Where's he gone? There he is somewhere. In fourth is chasing down third place. He is the fastest man on the racetrack yet again. Be the second fastest lap award for him today out of 2 stints. Although I think it's only awarded once. I don't think it's awarded per stint. I think it's awarded overall. I'm not actually sure that he's got the fastest overall. I think that's Macho Man that has the overall fastest lap. But Sidney did put that car on pole yesterday. So we know he's more than capable of being the fastest man out there. And you can see, I mean, we'll go back and on board actually. You see just how smooth he is. Smoother than a cashmere codpiece around every corner. It just looks so effortless, so relaxed. Swooping around, doesn't seem to be fighting any way with the car. It's responsive. It goes where he wants it, when he wants it, and it just seems to have the right amount of steering input and accelerator and brake all coming together for the perfect lap here at Bathurst. You always tell what parts of England or what part of certainly the United Kingdom. Wonder why Nick's left them. I'm hoping that's not an issue of any sort. You can always tell what part of the UK somebody is from by how they pronounce Bath or Bath in Bathurst or Bathurst, depending on where you are. If you go with the ah sound, you're from up north. If you do it like me, ah sound, you're from down south. Although I am technically the best of both worlds. Bloody hate Northerners. I don't hate Northerners at all. That's not true. Right. Talking to smooth, Evo very, very smooth. 12.5 seconds he leads this race by at the moment. He's just lapping Stormfly, who is running in ninth. It's ninth, isn't it? Yes, it is ninth. Press the button, Andy. There we go. Yeah, he's ninth. So that's where he comes out after his pit stop. Now, here's the thing. All right, so if he is on a one-stop strategy, it's actually not benefited him in any way against slide rules and stroke. Slide rules and has name, because he's going to be saving 20 odd seconds. He's 37 seconds beyond slide rules. Slide rules already has, as does has name, 3 pit stop over him anyway. So herein lies the question: if it's not going to benefit you in terms of a positional gain, is it worth now actually pushing and just giving it the extra beans and maybe finding an extra tenth or two, rather than holding on to the tyres and not having to stop again? I suppose that hinges on whether he can go. If he can go consistently 201 while pushing the tyres, then it's certainly something you need to think about at this stage. And then this stage is probably the last time you can, as we're past the halfway point here at Bathurst. This is the Bathurst 12 hour. We are well into hour number 7 now. 8 and 9 will be up just 8 and 9. We're into hour 8 now. It'll be 9 and 10 up next, and then of course 11 and 12 will be myself and Jaeger for the last couple of hours. It is which one's Shadow Chef? That's Wid, isn't it? Shadow Chef. Nick Gecko Racer jumping in. Wid is I'm sure that's Shadow Chef. Yeah, it is phenomenal pace. Or is it Simin? I think it's Simin that's Shadow Chef. So Wid is showing good pace, but can't stay with Azaria. He's opened that gap up to 38 seconds. Simin it's just been lap after lap after lap of absolute phenomenal close down pace, just chasing him every single aspect of the racetrack, being chase. Nuke running in 5th. The gap now, Jakey has closed it to 1.2 seconds. So now this is on like Donkey Kong. He didn't get the greatest of exits out there, but he is. We saw early on that Nuke was falling into the clutches or falling back towards Jakey. Jakey had a couple of seconds a lap over him. He's demonstrating now just how he can close up and give him some pressure, lots of pressure. Within that 1 second, and Nuke is going to find himself having to defend before long. They're going to come out of this. I know you're right. It does have a major effect. To be fair, aren't you pretty quick, Shadow Chef? I'm pretty sure you're not super slow either. I think that's why, because I think I have broadcast races you've been in before, so I meet a lot of people along the way, and in all honesty, I really don't care. I really don't. I don't care enough about human beings to remember them. I'm joking. That is a great stint from Jakey. Jakey really has really put the screws into Nuke. You see that Nuke's a little bit down on pace in comparison to his teammates that have come before, and has really exploited that. And you can see that he may well actually catch him here before I was thinking it might be lap 35, 36 maybe, but he's got an opportunity here. Although Nuke very, very clearly not going to let him through. Jakey's going to have to do it under braking up the inside. That is a phenomenal overtake from Jakey Wakey Shaky Bakey. You can see here, I mean, it's very clear from the fact that Nuke is not setting out his indicators. He's not planning on allowing Jake just to come through. Jake says, I don't really care what you think, going to do you under braking, does him under braking. Bish bash bosh, job done to everybody's satisfaction. Up to 5th. He's not going to catch Simin though. Simin is just like absolute shit off a shovel, and still in those, busted out those 2-minute laps, despite previously doing a 1:59.9. So we know that he's got 59s in him. I'm sure that there are more. I'm still quietly confident. I don't know why I'm quietly confident that we're going to see a sort of mid 59, maybe below mid 59. But I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, certainly 59.9s seem to be achievable, but I think there's a possibility. What do you mean he isn't here? Who's supposed to be up next? Can we not draft somebody in at this late stage? We've still got 15 minutes to find someone to get in the room. It's supposed to be Powers, isn't it? I certainly hope, I'll bloody drive it if I have to. I don't particularly want to, and obviously I'll be broadcasting, so it won't be easy. But if I have to, I will bloody drive it. We're not forfeiting a thingy because somebody just couldn't be bothered to turn up. That's ridiculous. Does Jay not want to do a couple of hours around here, or does he not even like Bathurst or the Lexus? Does he? That is a bit of a bummer. Where is he? Is he just not turned up, or is he doing something else, or said he's not doing it? Powers you're talking about. He's normally pretty reliable, Powers, to be fair. Have you got hold of Tyler and find out if Tyler's got hold of him? Drop Tyler a message and see if we can get hold of him. Right, so we were watching Simin on the close down. what events happening today? There's only one event happening today. All the events in general with what's yeah. Well, the thing is, when you're relying on people, people are inherently unreliable, aren't they? You just have to make do and get hold of it, so you can't get hold of them. Okay. Well, then we live and learn, don't we? I was reluctant to draft somebody in from outside anyway, but we didn't really have a choice. If we have to miss a stint, we miss a stint, and then we'll have to start again from the back in the stint after. That's just the way of the world. It's a bit of a shame, but we will see. Right, so 13 seconds clear for Evo, managing this very, very well. Azorian has held on in second, still very much on or near the top of my list for driver of the day. We've still got a couple of stints left for someone to nick that from me. Wid is trying to get rid of the opposition, but he's going to find it very difficult to stay ahead of Simin. Simin looking very, very racy today, very, very quick with the fastest lap. Jakey, wakey, shaky, bakey, 54 seconds behind Sinim. And Smasher, how the hell are you all? 3.3 seconds ahead of Nuke. Now he's got past him and made that move. He's starting now just to edge away. Has named 42 seconds back. Nuke has been dipping into those 202s. He has got 202s in the locker, but predominantly in those low 203s. Hasnain in the high to mid 201s, as is Slide Rules. Well, actually, he's in the 203 Slide Rules with Stormfly in the 201s. So we've got it's quite interesting because we've got two different strategies on the racetrack here. We've got yeah, that's a possibility if that can be done. There's enough of you about to sort it out between you, I would have thought. Hopefully. Right, so this is where we're at the moment. So Stormfly looks to be on a one-stop strategy. Yeah, it looks to be that he's on a one-stop strategy for this race. Everybody else around on a two-stopper. If he makes this work, it's been a really, really good stint because he's got cars ahead that will still need to stop. He will still need to pass them on the racetrack, but it will close the gap down significantly enough. Stroke there in 10th. What happened to him? What is going on with Stroke? Going very, very slow there. Was that? Did he make a mistake moving out of the way? Just having a look here. As it comes down to across the start-finish line. Oh, it looks like there was a bit of a... Yeah, there was a coming together between the two 911s there, and it just caused a bit of damage to Stroke's car. And it's going to be a long way round to get back to the pits and get that repaired. And that was... it wasn't even for track position. That was being lapped. So that was a Stroke, essentially, who's a lap ahead of Firelight. I do apologise for all the crunching in the background. I've asked them to stop, but they're still doing it, and they're doing it on purpose. And in a minute, I'm going to take it off and throw it in a bin. Yeah, so that was actually one car lapping another. So why they had coming together, I don't know. But it's cost Stroke quite significantly with that bit of damage. So does that allow Finalising Yeast to close back up and potentially put a run on that 10th position? Apex Magnet still back there, 1 minute 24 behind Tonic. He's 1.7 behind Yeast now, so potential battle coming on right now between these two. We'll go on board with Tonic and see if he can catch him when we come out of the mountain. Or has Yeast made his way, or was it Yeast that actually made the move on Tonic? I think that might actually be the case. I think Yeast may have made that move on Tonic and got himself ahead, but we'll soon find out. Tonic had a torrid time in Lobby 2. We saw him facing the wrong way more than once. Do you think that's what it was? I suppose it could have been a wheel disconnection. We are acutely aware of how rubbish Fanatec seemed to be for the money. It was actually, I was on the verge of pulling the trigger on getting a Fanatec, and then there was a spate of issues with it in a number of races, and I'm glad I didn't bother. Right, so Tonic is closing on the back of Yeast in that Mustang. Is he able to get the move done as they head up towards the mountain? It's certainly looking like he's a bit closer now. If he can be even closer coming out of Hell Corner, then there could be that run up the hill. Into Murray they go, and very, very close. Tonic is looking pretty darn race at the moment. He's got some pretty quick times on the board. Those aren't too dissimilar to the times running in the top 5. He's really going to put some pressure on the back of Yeast now. And Yeast just wants to move and not allow Tonic to get in that slipstream and get too much benefit. But I don't think there's much he can say about it, although the Mustang in a straight line looking pretty darn quick as it stands. So it's going to be another go round the mountain before they get a crack at it. Oh, very, very wide there was Yeast. That's allowed Tonic to get right up in his business. So now Yeast has got a couple of things to think about. Did he pick up any damage there? He didn't, but that has slowed him right up. But he's going to be pitting very soon as well. Well, both of them are actually. That's Evo in a bit early on lap 37. But we know you can stretch beyond that. And this is going to be a very, very brave overtake. But under braking didn't get it done. But they were, for a moment, side by side on a bit of the racetrack where we've seen today that there are parts of this racetrack you just don't go side by side. And basically everything from the cutting to Forest's elbow falls under that category. Here we go, though. He's got the good run out Forest elbow on the back of that Mustang. And we should see finally this move being made. Gonna rev the nuts out of it in 5th now, and yet that slipstream pulled the car closer. And here we go. Which way is he going to go, left or right? He goes to that right hand side. He's going to get to the kink first. It's all about under braking into the chase, and Tonic gets that job done, and Yeast back into 13th place. Good racing there from both of them. Although when they went side by side through the mountain, I genuinely thought somebody was going to be killed. Right, so Evo has completed his second and most likely last pit stop, as has Azarian, but he has picked up a 3-second penalty, and I cannot stress just how bad news that is. The gap, as you see, it's been pretty much flitting around 8, 9, 10 seconds for the whole race, there or thereabouts. Azarian did a really good job here. We'll see when he serves it. You'll see just how brutal the penalty lines are here in Gran Turismo, just how unrepresentative of the punishment it is. So if he gives you a 3-second time penalty, it should cost you 3 seconds of time. But that's not what happens here. As you'll see now, that it's racetrack dependent. And here, I think here and Le Mans are 2 places where it's such a brutal penalty. So you can see there was 9.2 seconds was the difference. Penalty served. Wait until he gets back up to speed and crosses the start-finish line, and then you'll see just how much time that's actually cost. It was 9.2 seconds, remember? 9.3 seconds or whatever it was. It's already out to 14.9. Massive loss, 15 seconds. He's made a mistake though, which has made it worse. So there we go. That's just what happens. You lose your head. You make that little mistake, you lose your head, and all of a sudden that gap has gone to almost more than doubled. It's more than doubled what it was because of one penalty and a little off-track mistake. And that has allowed the Lexus, and that is Jakey in that Lexus, to unlap himself from 6th position. So essentially 6th, well, they're not quite all on the same lap. So Azarin and Evo are on the lead lap. Then we've got Wid, Sinim, Nuke, Jakey, Hasnain, all on the sort of second lead lap, shall we say, with Slide Rules, Stormfly, lap back, lap 40, along with Stroke as well. Then Finalised and Tonic, etc., are further back than that. But that was a great move from Tonic, giving us a little bit of racing there. Stroke with that damage, not able to close on Stormfly. So a quick look at him, because he is one stopping this race. 29 seconds the gap to Slide Rules. He's closing a little bit on Slide Rules. So if he is one stopping this, when Slide Rules comes in, assuming he hasn't been in already, he hasn't been in yet, and Slide Rules is on a slightly different strategy, but when he comes in, we could see Stormfly moving back up into 8th position. And then, of course, Hasnain as well has got a pit, so he's going to be significantly close to him. He's going to pit this lap. Yeah, it was a 3. Let's have a look at Sinim. If he did have a penalty, he's already served it. But the gap is still coming down to Wid, so I don't think so. If it was 4 seconds. I can check for you, TJ. I think it's in the. I'll check for you really quickly, mate. Hang on. I have a feeling. Oh, he's in the room now, so I don't know. Is the honest answer, but I'll have a little check for you. Boom, boom, shanker. I don't know why I'm clicking on it. I'm already in the page. Just scrolling up. Look at this multitasking shit. I should be a woman. Yeah, it's Gecko for this one here. Indeed, it is. Okay. So Hasnain in the pits. We know this will be his last pit stop in that GT3 AMG for Amusibutis Racing. A very Canadian-inspired livery there, of course. So Hasnain coming through. He stays in 7th, although Slide Rules is now all about the base. Just 1.8 seconds back, but he himself will be pitting in a couple of laps' time. Now here's the kicker. Stormfly is 28 seconds back. His pace is very similar to that of Hasnain, although I think Hasnain's slightly more consistently in those 201s. It's going to be very difficult for him to catch 7th. I certainly think, though, Slide Rules is in a bit of trouble for AHR, and given where they were at the beginning of this race, down in 8th at the moment is not where they are. I think they're where they expected to be at this stage. Right, let's have a little looky-see. Right, 21 seconds now after Azarian's little penalty, and then that lapse of concentration into the chase. It's 21 seconds now, the gap to Evo. So Evo can, if he wants to, relax a little bit. He's not going to. That's not his way. 34 seconds to Wid. That is consistently still opening. It was opening a lot more until Azarian made that. Lost 20 seconds almost. Horrific mistake for him. On lap 41. Wid lost some time as well. I think he pit though, didn't he? I think he may have pit. Yeah, he pit on lap 40, so he's done now. He's done his final pit stop. Simin has as well. He is 36 seconds. He's taken nearly half a minute out of Wid in this race, and there's still just under 20 laps to go. So he could potentially, if we assume that he's taking 15 minutes out every 20 laps, I think we could safely assume there's another 10 minutes coming out between now and the end of the race, and that gap will be down to a much more chaseable 25 minutes. And obviously we don't know who's coming in for Sector 7 in that car in the next stint. There is Jakey. Jakey having a really good race, actually. Should be quite proud of the way he's performed. He's up into 5th. Nuke down from, he was 4th. He's lost a couple of places now, dropping down into the bottom reaches of the top 6. Currently running 16 seconds behind Jakey. Shaky Bakey Jakey. Where's the what do you mean, where is the S5 stream? It's on the black flag. I've sent you the stream key, Juventus. If you have a look in the stream thingy, the stream key's there for you already. I've sorted it out. So you just need to put in the stream key, as you normally do. Hasnain running 27 seconds behind Nuke. Slide Rules just 4.6 behind him, but he will be pitting. If not this lap, then certainly the lap after that. Stormfly 26 seconds back. He won't be pitting again. I think he looks very much like he's going to run to the end. He didn't pit until lap 29 of this race. Yeah, lap 29 of this race. Oh, he's here. Oh, cool. He was just he was just making you sweat. He's got the powers. Just make sure he knows when to leave the pits. We don't have any more pit nanigans, because I think it's already going to go horribly wrong in terms of penalties anyway for that one lap early. Although I don't, yeah, we'll see. Stroke 52. Yeah, it should do. You're right. It should pop up when you put the string key in. But if you beam to that stream key, it will do it. It's there. Hang on. Going back to the main page. Hang on. I spend so much time like sorting out problems. I need an assistant. It was there. Where's it gone? It was definitely there. 100% it was there. I don't know where it's gone. Hang on. Let's have a look. I've broken YouTube. It is still there. I'm looking right at it. What the hell? Someone's been messing with the labels, I think. Hold the line, caller. I will sort this problem out right now. That's correct. That's correct. Why is that one? I'll tell you what I think the problem was, because we had to very quickly add one in that we weren't expecting. It overwrote something. Should be right now. It's got all there, yeah. Right, it's definitely there. 100% definitely there. I'm looking at it right now. It was there. It had all the right thingies. It just had the wrong name on it for some reason. What's the last 4 digits of the string key you've got, mate? Should be FWUB. Ray, I can assure you that it always takes a woman's touch. There's not once a man has touched it and it's ever worked. not that I regularly have men touching it, of course. Have we had another pit stop? Because I haven't given us a penis for a while. Oh, there we go. Finalised is in. I was waiting for another one. Yeah, that's the right one, mate. Just stream to that. It'll come up. Right. What do we got? What do we have last time? We had 1811, the Gang instrument. Do we want 1890 or 1896? or 1613? Right, here we go. Let's have a little vote. Let's have a little vote for me. Do we want to know what the favourite slang term for a penis was in 1613, 1890, or in fact there's two from 1890 or 1896? See the popular time for slang terms for penises. Let's have a vote from the chat, please, and we'll give you another penis slang term. Right, so Apex Magnet has a pit and is running in 14th. Yeast has done the final pit stop in 13th. Tonic as well. I think everybody now has had their final pit stop. Stroke Slide Rules has. The only person that we know hasn't is, well, he has, because he's not pitting again. Stormfly going for the one stopper. 32 seconds to Hasnane, 22 to Nuke. Then we've got Jakey. Districts, or Jakey, was that a yellow flag for someone? Jakey appears to be flashing his hazards. We want to know. We've got one vote for 1890 so far. There are actually two for 1890, but I'll pick the funniest one of the two. In fact, I'm not sure which one is the funniest one. They're both very good. Yeah, it's absolutely insane place. Right, so favourite slang term for a penis in 1890 was the Master of Ceremonies. Well, you could have had from the same year the Father Confessor, which sounds a little bit priest rapey to me. So I imagine that's where that came from. Just wait till we get to the one from 1975. So if someone else pits, we'll do it. I might save some for the final stint. I'll see if I might play a little game and see how many I forgot his name. Jaeger can guess. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's save the rest. I've still got there's about another 15 on this list, and I've saved some of the better ones till last. Right, 24 seconds. The gap hasn't got any bigger since Azarian had that 3-second penalty, which proved to be actually about a 7-second penalty, and then disappeared off on the grass into the chase. That gap has opened up into 24-second gap. 36 seconds to Wid. That gap was opening for a while, but has kind of contracted a little bit. Sinmin has closed almost the full 30 seconds now to Wid. It was over a minute, the distance between them, but he's almost closed that to within 30 seconds. It's been a phenomenal stint from him, and I think it's going to be very difficult to pick anybody else other than him for this particular stint as driver of the stint. But yeah, I think applause is in order. Jakey's done a really good job as well, though. But I think Simmons just edges it, but for that massive chase down. Nuke now 24 seconds behind Jakey. It doesn't look like he's going to get caught by Hasnane, though. 20 seconds almost as it is. Stormfly 34 seconds back. He's got some work to do if he wants to catch Hasnane, but I think it's unlikely with the pace. The two of them got very similar, and Stormfly being on that one stop. You just don't want to over push your tyres if you can help it. Slide the rules. 12.2 seconds as it stands. 37.9 to stroke. Finalised is a couple of laps back, lap 45. Tonic 25 seconds back from that. What's the current team running order? What do you mean in terms of where people are on the racetrack? Or our team, you mean? Apex Magnet's still very much in there as darkness descends upon us in a rather ominous fashion. And this is where we get the business end of things now as darkness descends upon the mountain. That 45 of 60. We're moving into the last 15 laps of this race. Let's go on board where people are on the track. Well, if you watch the broadcast, you'll see. But at the moment, it is ERA leads. Who's that going into the pits? That looks like... Who was that going into? Someone was going into the pits. Oh, there we go. It was Slide Rules into the pits. And he's got damage. So that could allow Stroke to move up a position and certainly give Stormfly a little bit of a break. But we've got someone in the pits, which means we get another favourite. So you've got an idea of what to talk about before the stint starts. Well, if you spent all day watching like the rest of us, then you'd have something to talk about. We've got from... let's have a look. From 1975, a favourite slang term for a penis is a corned beef torpedo. I was born in 75, and the thought of my dad using a corned beef torpedo on my mum makes me feel a little bit ill. Yeah, you can't. I tend to go inside the car then, because you can't really see the cars at all anyway, particularly on the mountain. Right, Craig, you wanted a full rundown, didn't you? So it's ERA leads from... why have I forgotten what they're called? ORT, the Overboost Racing Team. Then it's Sector 7-2 from the Syndicate Racing Team. Then we've got Race Asylum, racing under, I can't remember the banner of the racing under. Then Nuke, that's from Sector 7. Hasnane is, I'm forgetting now. I need to come back out of the car so I can remember. That's Moosehead. Loose Moose about this use. Loose Moose Racing. Stormfly, you know where he's from. Slide Rules. You tuned in at the wrong time. You arrived just for the slang penis thing. Yeah, we've been. I found a crazy list compiled by somebody who had far too much time on their hands of oldie worldy words or slang terms for a penis, and I was regaling people of them as they every time we had a pit stop. Yeah, then we've got Stroke is that's the Vortex Racing Team. Finalised is in the Rexy liveried 911 for it's not ready to race. Time to race or something like that. They're called. I can't remember. Tonic is in the other Race Asylum car. Then we've got Yeast for MRL and Apex Magnet also for MRL. There you go. There's the full rundown for you. Let's get back in the car because it's cold out here in the dark. Can one of the RA people join the Team 2 chat? Jake is asking. What is Jake looking for? Is there something going on with his car? Is he having a problem? I think it might be. I think I did notice earlier that he had his hazard lights on. Now I'm wondering if there's some sort of issue with his motor car. We'll have a little look. He's not flashing anymore, but he did have his hazards on a couple of laps back. If you're listening at Race Asylum, somebody's desperately needed in the Team 2 chat for Jake. He needs a poo-poo. I don't know if that's true. I hope it's not. And he's poo shy. Excuse me. Right, so Jakey is looking for some assistance from his team. Something going on there. Evo running in the lead. Still, it's 32 seconds now. He's found the pace, and it looks like Azarian, who is currently tucked up. He's lost a couple of. For 6 seconds. Now, is that because he's tucked up behind another car? Well, he's got some damage. So finally, Overboost Racing Team picks up their first bit of damage. There we have it. Sims gap to P3. Well, he's 29 seconds behind him at the moment. So that was Kaz. That was minute 3, minute 5, I think it might have been, at the beginning of this stint. He has, in fact, it was a minute back to Nuke, who was in 4th, and Simon was in 5th at the time. So actually, it was more than a minute back. Somewhere like a minute 10, minute 15. So he's really closed it down to that 29 seconds. Really closed it down. And he's now less than a minute. Actually, he's closer to 2nd now than he was to 3rd at the beginning of this stint. So it's been an absolutely phenomenal performance from Simon. Azarian with some damage now. It's too close to the end for it to be viable to pit to pit and get rid of the damage. Problem is now, of course, he's going to be struggling to keep up with those 201s he was doing before, which is going to allow Evo to just edge away. And it's going to make Evo look like he's pulled up huge, a huge kind of a gap. When actually it's built for a large proportion of this race. It was only 9 seconds. It was just a little bit. It was a penalty coming out of the pits of 3 seconds, followed by a little error at the chase that put Azarian into trouble, and it kind of went from there. You know what, Kaz? Everybody has a bad race. Every race I have is a bad race. So you know it's one of those things, and you got to think of the considering how he's doing now in 4th. It hasn't worked out too bad, has it, mate? It's not too shabby. I have a distinct feeling that because of the issues with release. That we're going to have the Black Flag going to have a penalty coming their way. I'm not sure how big it's going to be. I'm hoping that any penalty Black Flag gets is offset by the fact that the race before the driver accidentally or basically missed the pits for lap 60 and then just continued on, which cost 4 places on the racetrack. So I'm hoping that that one offsets the other, because I have a feeling the second one was it was just a complete misunderstanding, I think, but we'll see. Anyway, slide rules is 41 seconds back behind Stormfly pit again to run to the end of this race. So he's not now going to have, unless he can find some absolutely incredible pace over the next few laps, he's not going to find 41 seconds. So 8th place is where Stormfly will be. Stroke, talking penises, and we're talking of Stroke, 6.7 seconds behind slide rules. I wouldn't count this out for a bit of a last few lap potential chase down. Finalised there in 11th. There is Tonic running in 12th. It is Yeast in 13th, and 14th is Apex Magnet. I do have to get ready to set up the transition. I'm wondering whether it might be better just for... Yeah, I think if you're listening, Jaeger, you do the transition and I won't. I think it makes sense the incoming broadcaster does the... Quentus, sorry. You do the transition. So get the transition page up and you do it and I won't. And then we can hand over like that. Don't forget, Quentus, as well, you've got to jump into the chat here. The stream voice chat. Because I'm assuming you're in your room now, ready to go. Let me drop you a little message just in case. I don't like multitasking. I know it sounds like I'm typing like a 4-year-old child, but it's because my keyboard's off at an angle because I've got the other one in front of me. Right, so Anything going on in terms of battles? Well, yeah, we've got this one potentially here, haven't we? We've got Yeast closing on Tonic, 7.4 seconds there. We've got Apex Magnets, who is 1 minute 34 behind Yeast. That's not a battle of any note. Finalised is a lap back from Stroke. Stroke only 4.4 on slide rules. Potential here. So Stroke's last 5 laps were 201 high, 202 low. Slide rules last 5 were we can't really include the 2 before that because that was an in lap and an out lap. But 203 mid, 205 2 and a 203 mid. So the gap is closing. The Stormflyer damage for Stormfly. So the one-stop strategy hasn't paid off because he's had to come in and repair. Now, obviously, the benefit, of course, is that having run just the one-stop, it's not an extra. Well, it's an extra pit stop plan on what he planned, but it's not an extra pit stop in the scheme of things. So it's cost him no time in terms of slide rules behind, but it has cost him in terms of bed. Hello, Cruentus. How you doing, man?
Hey up. Let me just get it so I can get the desktop audio in this. I realised just now that I've got not as much sorted as I thought I did.
You're about as much use as a chocolate fucking teapot.
In it. With desktop
How much
audio.
have you seen so far of the action today?
Not much. Where's bloody desktop audio? What's the thing that I need?
You need the one that's called
It's
audio output.
Do I need an output? Alright.
Audio output catcher, yeah. That's
Yeah.
the one you want.
So, okay.
And then make sure it's set to the same thing that your Discord is set to.
Right.
It's been quite an exciting day. The first stint was a crash fest. Every car, bar 2, had to repair damage, and one of those cars that didn't have to repair damage was disconnected.
Alright,
so
okay,
they may
there we
well have
go.
done.
Stream should be able to hear you. Let me get shut up. There we go. Have I got everything sorted? Nope, that's the wrong bloody one that I need to come on. And stint starting. Alright, there we go, I've done it.
Awesome. Yeah, so we're on lap 56 here with Evo. So about 4 more laps before they come through. They'll all sit in the pits, and obviously the first car out will be ERA someone.
Okay.
It'll be the ERA car.
It'll either be Nick or Blue Ray.
It'll be Nick.
Yeah.
And if it's ERA. Yeah, so ERA, Nick. Then
just
we're
got
looking
there.
at the ORT car, who is the ORT McLaren 650S.
The Junior. Yeah. No, that's a CRL. Blood. Alright, I should probably put my glasses on, considering the fact that I think
just
CRL
look at the cars.
is
So you want the ORT McLaren 650S.
Yeah, got him. Car 46.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is it?
ORT King.
Oh yeah, King's very, very quick. He was very, very quick in that stint too. Who we got for the gold Sector 7 car?
I believe it slips. Yes, it's Slipstream.
So Slippy in that one. Who is in the other Sector 7 car?
Other Sector 7, I think it's
a red
Error,
one.
yeah. Red one, yeah.
Error,
Car 13.
yeah. Then we want to look at the Syndicate Racing. Syndicate,
Never
and
heard of it. What does the car look like?
it's the I think it's a Corvette. It's a Corvette.
Corvette. Has it got some rainbow on the exhaust?
I can't see the livery, mate. It's got Syndicate Racing
crap.
written on the wing.
Syndicate Race. I believe that it's this. Yeah, alright, Syndicate Racing. There we go. So, on mullets.
in that car.
They at the moment are on a big chase down to the top 3.
Nice.
You want the what's next? The Race Asylum Lexus.
That'll be a Blue Race. Fine.
Blue Racer back again for another stint. Then we've got the I can't remember what team has name is now. I should remember this by now. You would have thought I would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
We'll come back to that. We've got Powers is in for Black Flag, I believe.
Yep, got him here.
And Slide Rules is currently in the AHR Apex Hunter Racing. It's the white and black Corvette.
Yeah, Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle back in again. He did the last session as well. The green, or the Vortex Porsche 911 is the pink one.
Alright, can you find it? Pink 911. God. Am I blind?
Or the not green 911, shall we say then?
Alright, okay, there's a green one here. I'm looking for the other 911. Alright, they're coming into the pits now.
Who's in the green one?
Green one, crap, Furious 2.
And then there's going to be another 911, but they're coming into the pits now. So, alright, okay, I've got a nice look at the cars now.
Yeah.
Perfect. They're all in the pit. Not 11. I believe that. Yeah, that's a 911. CRL Jupi.
Oh,
Probably mispronouncing that, but it's Black Flag. If you make your name hard to pronounce, you get the one that you're given.
Yeah, no, it's spelled out with a UPay. At the moment, we've got Stroke all over the back of Slide Rules. He was flashing him all the way down the Conrod Straight. I don't know if he's flashing him because he's using the steering wheel and it just happens to be pressing it, using the control, and I just happen to be pressing the button at that particular time. But I'm not a big fan of that, because he hasn't done it around that corner. I understand that it's used when you're going to lap someone, just to give them a little reminder that you're there. But I think if you're racing someone, you shouldn't be flashing them to get them to move. They've got no business moving out of your way. So that's what he's doing. It's not very sporting from my perspective, but he is putting some pressure on Slide Rules at the minute, and Slide Rules will not want to have to contend with that for the last few laps. So looking at Evo, because he'll be in very, very soon, it's lap 58 for him. So just coming on or through the mountain now and onto Conrod, so just a couple of laps left for Evo before their changeover. That's because who's from Hucknall? Oh, are you from Hucknall? You are, aren't you?
No.
Who's he talking about?
We'll be talking about Jake. Jake's.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's have a little look, see if Stroke can get this done. Staying with him through the mountain. He's going to have to, he's really close to the back of him there. If he can stay this close to him and keep the car stable and get the power down out of Forest Elbow, we could see a lovely overtake towards the end of this stint number 4. And on the power he goes, out onto Conrod, and the Corvette's going to have that little bit of an edge over the Porsche 911 down here, but the slipstream is strong in this one, and he's going to use the force if he has to, a bit like my sex life. But it's slap bang in the middle of the road. He's not giving any room at all. Under braking, the 911 gets it slowed down to Stroke, get the move done over Slide Rules. Little touchy the back end stepping out, but the move completed successfully. We'll have another look at that, but we'll have a look from the perspective of Stroke again as he gets the move done. In fact, let's have a look from Slide Rules, seeing the car coming up behind him. This is all he'll see in cockpit mode. Very, very little as the car comes through. There was a little touch, the back end of the 911 just wanted to step out, but Rubbin is racing, baby. Rubbin is racing. He gets that job done. Slide Rules dropping to 10th, and Stroke gains himself another position. So up to 9th for him. Right, where are we? Evo's on lap 59, so we'll have a full rundown from the back because from that point onwards they're going to start coming in. So Apex Magnet is a 1 minute 38 seconds back. He's currently on lap 54 of this 60 lap race, with Yeast running 11 seconds behind Tonic. He's actually closed that gap a little bit. Tonic had pulled it away for a while, been very consistent. Tonic 15 seconds from finalised, very similar lap times from those two, although there are essentially on different laps, not anymore. Stroke, who we just saw making the move on slide rules, but he's now back behind us. It looks like he's made a mistake somewhere, because slide rules is ahead of him. So you can only assume that there was some sort of mistake made there. Stormfly 21 seconds up the road. Hasnain is a minute up the road now. Stormfly had to pit again after getting some damage. But Hasnain is all over the back of Nuke now as we head towards the tail end of this race. We know we've got to keep an eye on Evo going in, because Evo is not far off going into the pits. He's just on the final lap now. But there is actually a battle here for 6th. Did Nuke pick up some damage or something? It didn't. Hasnain's just managed to reel him in over the course of these last few laps. Very, very close to the back of him. It's been quite interesting, actually, that we've seen Nuke pick up the... he joined this in 4th position behind his teammate Wid. And we just saw that the absolute devastating pace of Simon and Jakey come past him quite early doors, but he's held on for so long. But now he's got Hasnain all over the back of him like a very unwelcome rash after a weekend at Glastonbury, and he is going to put him, or certainly put him under enough pressure to start thinking about what happens next. Good exit out of Hell Corner turn 1, and there could be a very good run up the hill for Hasnain in behind this AMG GT3. Round turn 1 they go. Both get a decent exit. He's in that slipstream under half a second. He's getting the little suck along that he absolutely wanted from Nuke as they head up towards turn 2 at the top of the hill. He's not going to get an opportunity here. He did have a little look. He poked, you can see there, he just poked his head around the right hand side, had a little look to see where the gap was and if it was going to come open for him, but I think he realised he wasn't quite close enough. He is all over the back of him now as they come through, and a little error from Nuke there has just allowed his name to stay right in under that wing. Big wing. That's Evo into the pits. So his teammate will be coming out very shortly, but we are staying with this battle for 6th as Hasnain has chased down Nuke for quite a few laps, and finally getting an opportunity to have a little go at the back of him through the twisty skyline portion of the mountain down to Forest Elbow. Good exit out of here, and it is toasty time for Nuki. And a good exit again from both cars. The AMG getting that power down a little bit quicker, but now you can see Hasnain in that slipstream. He's getting pulled ever closer. Is Nuke going to stick it in the middle of the road, or is he going to give him a space on one side? You can see the car coming. Hasnain's got very little opportunity left to come into that kink. He's up the inside, under braking. Can he get this job done? He does struggle a bit to get it slowed down. Does just get it slowed down, but is he staying ahead? Because Nuke is right on top of him now. This could be the old switcheroo. Nuke can have a look up the inside into the final corner. Thinks better of it. Now he's having a little look with an exit. Doesn't get it done. Loose Moose Racing still holding on from sector 7. This is really balls to the wall action here as we're on the last lap for these two. Evo, Azari and Wid all in. That handover is happening. Simon is in. That handover is happening. Jakey will be coming in soon, but the action at the moment is between Nuke and Hasnain. Hasnain just ahead at the moment. He made that move on Nuke, but Nuke is sticking with him all the way up on this final lap. If he can hold on through the mountain, he may have that final opportunity into the hotel complex at the Chase. But you just see Hasnain just edging just edging away a little bit, making a gap that makes it difficult for Nuke to do anything with, and he's now out of that 1 second window. So that's job done there. Top 4 all in, and I suppose they're probably out on track for you now, aren't they? Are they not?
Yeah, we've got 4 drivers out on track at the moment.
Yeah, Jakey will be coming in very, very soon. Just coming around the last couple of corners. And we'll see him driving in shortly. Under the armour all signs, pulled to that left-hand side, into the pits he goes. So just wait for Jakey to come to a stop, and his teammate will continue. Hasnain has held on 2.2 seconds now over Nuke. He absolutely pulled away through the mountain. Nothing for Nuke to do. Nuke couldn't get that position back. So it's going to be Hasnain in 6th, 37 seconds from Jakey. But it's going to be an interesting start to Stint 5 with Hasnain from Loose Moose Racing coming in. So Loose Moose Racing will be out, and then 2.8 seconds behind them will be Sector 7. So that's going to be a really interesting start to the next stint, particularly with the drivers that they've both got available to them. So Hasnain in, Nuke coming in now. A bit of a wait for Stormfly, he's about a minute behind. He's just coming through Skyline now at the top of this mountain. Slide Rule's half a minute behind him. It's going to be about 5 minutes before everyone finally gets into the pits. So yeah, you've got one big battle on the horizon with Sector 7 and Hasnain.
Right out of the pits, you've got a massive.
Who's crashed?
Aero. Was there a crash, or was it just a boatload of cars coming out at the same time? And
Yeah, it would have been the Sector 7 driver and hasn't. And,
you got Aero and Olive are 2 seconds apart from me. And Slipstream's in between them.
Oh, interesting.
How many
So that's Stormfly in from 8th. We've still got Slide Rules and Stroke, who are on the final lap. Finalised is still on lap 59. Tonic also on lap 59, as is Yeast. And Apex Magnet still on lap 58. Almost an entire lap behind. Certainly a lap behind Tonic, but almost a lap behind Yeast as well.
black flag cars out now? That's all that matters.
Yeah, let's turn it off. We're done.
Yeah, we're done.
So finalised coming round to complete lap 59. So one more lap for finalised before he can come round into the pits.
Bob's your uncle and Upe coming out neck and neck, wheel to wheel for the first straight. Upe is ahead, 911.
Yeah, that's going to be a good little battle there because you between that 911 and
how close were they?
1.7 Stroke was behind Slide Rules in the end, and then we had 3.3 before between Nuke and Hasnain. So between Sector 7 and Moosehead or Loose Moose Racing. It was 51 seconds between Azarian in second and Evo in first. And we've got Nick out now, have we? As long as he doesn't crash, he should be alright. He had a massive crash in Stint 1, so it's taken until Stint 3 for them to get back into the lead. It's been an interesting day of races.
Caught a little bit of it.
Yeah, it's been there's been some really good battles on the racetrack for a long time. ORT Overbridge Racing have dominated this race. I mean, they've I think out of every team, they've been the most constant in the top 3. Azarian led this race for a very long time, but they've been, since they lost the lead to ERA, they've not dropped out of second place. And had it not been for an unfortunate 3-second penalty and a little foray on the grass, it was only 9 seconds behind Evo for a long period, Azarian. And it was just that little lapse of concentration towards the end that made the gap so big. So finalised, just coming in now, 13 seconds behind him, is Tonic. He's coming in now, and Yeast, my favourite infection, is not much further back. He's at 19 seconds back from Tonic. So finalised, should be coming out in the green, or whoever it is in the green 911 should be coming out now. Tonic just coming into his, or waiting for it to come into his pit bay. There he comes. That's the other race asylum car.
Green Rexy catching the front end. There comes out the other race asylum car.
Yeah, so we're just waiting for Yeast, who should be arriving in the pit box now. There we go, in that Ford Mustang. That's the Medway Racing League car. And just Apex Magnum waiting on now, who is on his final lap, just coming through, just coming into the mountain. So there we have it. Looking pretty good for you. I'm going to leave it in your capable hands, and we'll catch you on the handover to Lobby 6 in about an hour and a half. Have fun.
Alright.
Enjoy.
Give it me all. Alright, so current leading order is
Right, we're pretty much over here. Apex Magnet's just going to make his way around and into the pits, jump over onto the next broadcast with Cruentus, and he will take you through all of the action for the 5th stint here at Bathurst. I'm going to go and have a lie down in a cold room, or lie down in a warm room, so I think it's freezing cold, because my family have this obsession with leaving doors open and making me die of coldness. Thank you very much for joining me for this 2 hours. Myself and Jaeger will be back for the final run in the final 2 hours, when we'll see if we can convince him to sing something to you in German. It's been emotional.